All right, and we are back with round 5, I believe. Let me just click out of studio mode. And we have Ashton versus Matthias on stream. Matthias is running something also unique compared to what Ashton's running, which is also very unique. Groudon, Xerneas, Landorus, Thundurus, Kangaskhan, and Lilligant from Matthias' side of the field, and a Gardevoir, a Jellicent, a Smeargle, a Conkeldurr, a Ho-Oh, and a Rayquaza on Ashton's side. So both very unique teams. I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, I think Matthias' team is a lot more straightforward. The only thing that's kind of strange is the Lilligant. Well, like, we know it gets after you. A lot of the times it has Teeter Dance as well and Sleep Powder. So Ashton will probably see what it'll be able to do, but then Ashton's team is different. Not many. I don't think we've seen any Jellicent do well at any events this year.
No, I mean, I think we've seen Ho-Oh and Rayquaza on the same team before. In fact, I feel like they make really good partners for each other because Mega Rayquaza does cancel out the flying weakness.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to expect from anything else, really.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Ashton doesn't have a Groudon or Kyogre on his team.
He doesn't.
It's just been so dominant this year, but like we're seeing players like, I know John Hu ran it at that at the New York PC the one time. Obviously, Ashton's running it now. You know, it could be really strong and something that could counter the meta that we're seeing.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know that I spoke to one of Ashton's prior opponents, and they told me a little bit about their game, and apparently the Gardevoir isn't Mega, but I don't know for sure. I mean, it's possible he just misclicked or something. Really excited to see it because it looks like he's leading it. Gardevoir and Smeargle on Ashton's side of the field against what I'm assuming is a Groudon and a Lilligant
Okay.
on Matthias' side of the field. So,
so Smeargle traced Drought, or Gardevoir, I'm sorry.
No worries. So
that's bad for Ashton because you think he'd be hoping to trace the Chlorophyll there.
I would think so too. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that that he sent out the Gardevoir hoping that Trace would pick up the Chlorophyll from the Lilligant, but it's really hard to say. I mean, Trace is like a 50-50 shot depending on what it picks up. So
this is a Mega Gardevoir.
It is a Mega Gardevoir with Trick Room.
So it's a little throwback to Nats 2015.
Wow. That is more than a little throwback. That's a huge throwback. I don't think I've seen a Trick Room Gardevoir in ages.
Yeah, it's been nowhere to be seen this year. Just no Gardevoir teams have done particularly well, I think. So Groudon's just going to protect. It doesn't want to risk like the fake out and then maybe a Hyper Voice or a Psychic into that slot.
Yeah, and Smeargle goes for the wide guard, probably hoping to stop the Eruption. Misses the Sleep Powder, and Gardevoir gets Trick Room up, so
that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, turn 1 is pretty decisively Ashton's, I think.
Yeah, now especially just because Ashton has the wide guard on Smeargle, Matthias, he can't... Oh, I'm assuming someone won in a different division, but he can't press his blades, he can't Eruption. Like, everything that he has to do has to be a single target move, and I don't know if his Groudon has any.
I don't know. I mean, Smeargle went for the Dark Void there and shut down Matthias, like, perfectly. Gardevoir is now going for the Hyper Voice, which does a decent amount of damage to that Lilligant. Not so much on the Groudon, but that's kind of to be expected. I mean, Fire does resist Fairy-type moves.
I think he just tried to break the Focus Sash on Lilligant. He might go for a Psychic this turn, or anything like just to get rid of the Groudon. You know, he has to take advantage of the Trick Room turns while he has it up, especially since both of the Pokemon on the other side are asleep.
Yeah, but Ashton's going for another Dark Void, and both Pokemon are already asleep. Groudon will remain asleep this turn. Hyper Voice will activate before the Lilligant even gets the chance to attack, so again, this turn was pretty decisively Ashton's.
Yeah, I liked how Ashton went for another Dark Void just because if Matthias switched out, then he could catch the switch, you know, not lose any momentum. Even though both of the Pokemon were guaranteed a turn of sleep that turn just because Smeargle went last, it was still a good play.
Yeah, I think it was his best play there. He could have switched to try and gain a little bit of momentum, but he didn't really need it. And keeping Smeargle on the field, keeping it pressing the Dark Void button, kind of covers all of his bases. As for now, though, I mean, Kangaskhan could very well fake out the Gardevoir, could fake out the Smeargle. It's hard to say what it's going to do. Or it could just play an attack.
Very true, very true. So Kangaskhan's going to Mega Evolve, no surprise there.
We're going to
Smeargle
see.
does Spiky Shield.
So probably hoping for the fake out from that Kangaskhan, which will happen and does
Into
connect
the
with the
Smeargle.
Smeargle. And now Gardevoir is free to do whatever it wants because Groudon doesn't wake up, and that apparently will be Psychicking the Groudon. Oh, and Groudon lives with what appears to be like 1 or 2 HP, and it's guaranteed to wake up this turn. And it's faster than the Smeargle in Trick Room, but slower than the Gardevoir, so it looks like Groudon will have a chance to wake up and do something.
Yeah. It's important to note here, too, that Smeargle still has this Focus Sash.
Smeargle does still have the Focus Sash. It is still spamming Dark Void, so Kangaskhan 2 will fall asleep now. I mean, honestly, it feels like Ashton's just cleaning up at this point. I think that turn 1 Trick Room just really swung things in his favor. Even though Groudon is going to try and pick up the KO on the Gardevoir with a Overheat. And he gets it.
It does, okay.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I think he only would have missed it if the move actually would have missed. Overheat in Sunlight is a terribly powerful attack, especially if you're running Special Groudon. Which I'm assuming is what he's running, but we really haven't seen that Groudon do anything but take a nice long nap.
Yeah, a lot of players, like, there's a lot of leeway for whatever the third move on Groudon is going to be. Some people go for a rock move for coverage, or some people just end up putting another fire move on top of the eruption that he probably has.
Interesting play here. I don't know if you saw, but it looked like Ashton clicked in Dragon Dance on that Rayquaza. Rayquaza is also not Mega Evolving, which...
Well, because Gardevoir Mega Evolved.
Right, all right, Gardevoir Mega Evolved. Excuse me, I completely missed that. We're going to see Groudon go for a second Overheat onto the Smeargle spot, most likely bringing it down to Sash, but doesn't due to the special attack drop from the first one.
And we see the Endeavor from Smeargle onto Kangaskhan.
So yeah, if that Rayquaza has extreme speed, all he has to do is click that button twice and he wins, which I think is exactly what he's going to do.
Yep.
So
Ashton's just in such a commanding position right now. There's not much he can do to lose.
There's still one more Pokemon in the back, so depending on what it is, it could help out, but I don't know. Kangaskhan goes down to the extreme speed. Groudon is going to go for another Overheat onto that Smeargle.
He just doesn't want to Precipice Blades, or if he even has it, like, there's no point in going for a spread move if you know the Smeargle can just Wild Guard.
Yeah.
You know, he can't lose any momentum at this point.
Yeah.
Or else he'll really have no chance to come back into the game. Which he might now, but...
I don't know. I mean, we have a +1 speed and +1 attack. Rayquaza versus a Xerneas and a Ho-Oh versus a Groudon. That attack boost on that Rayquaza is probably going to make the Dragon Ascent a KO. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I mean, where there's a Xerneas, there's a way. We'll definitely have to see what happens this turn. If Ashton protects with the Rayquaza and Xerneas gets a Geomancy up, that could be a lot of trouble for him.
Yeah, I think if he wants to be safe here, he needs to go for the attack rather than going for the protect. It's kind of counterintuitive because you think protect, you think of safety, but in this position you really got to keep up the offensive momentum because one slip up will allow that Xerneas to get the Geomancy up and will allow it to potentially win the game.
That was after Dragon Dance, wasn't it?
That was after Dragon Dance.
That's a really bulky Xerneas.
The Xerneas lives. Xerneas goes for the Geomancy. It will consume the Power Herb, so it gets the boost. I think it's going to come down to the extreme speed on that Xerneas.
I feel like if Dragon Ascent did that much to Xerneas, I don't think Extreme Speed will knock it out next turn.
I don't think so either.
Unless he doubled into it with the Ho-Oh.
I thought he targeted the Groudon with the Ho-Oh. I could be mistaken, but...
He did.
There we go. So yeah, Xerneas versus the world, everybody. We'll see if the Geomancy is enough to take this game. I know Ho-Oh is particularly especially bulky, and it does have leftovers, so... It's possible that with like a Lucky Sacred Fire Burn or maybe a couple crits or something, he could take it. But again, it's really hard to say. Extreme Speed from that Rayquaza connects with the Xerneas. Brings it down into the red, does not pick up the KO. Dazzling Gleam should KO that Rayquaza.
Yeah, no focus.
Literally does nothing to that Ho-Oh, so
well, this
I
game's
think that's
over.
game over. Yeah, like even a Moonblast wouldn't really have helped him there. It's just Ho-Oh's too bulky.
Yeah, Ho is just so good against the Big Six. There's nothing that you can do against it. If you can deal with the counters that your opponent has to Ho, it almost acts like Ferrothorn did in 2014, where it would just swallow out the rest of the team.
Yeah, I know that I've seen some Groudon running Rock Slide or Stone Edge nowadays to like try and counter that. You really need to, because Xerneas just can't do it on its own. Unfortunately for Matthias, though, like his Kangaskhan was gone. His like Groudon was basically dead at that point. He had no way to bring it back. So that's game.
Did he have a Salamence?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay, because Salamence usually does very well into Ho-Oh, but
yeah,
I guess not. Well, Ashton took a very convincing victory.
Yeah, he needs one more to guarantee the top cut. So good luck to him. Good luck to Matthias. We'll be back in a few minutes with round 6, the final round of Swiss at this Premier Challenge in Florida. Thanks for watching, everybody.